this occasion. The first this morning in Adelaide, the second is coming up in a week's time in Perth. Here in studio with me to watch this first encounter, we welcome Kieran Whelan, who of course represented Ireland in the international rules in his time, and also we have Marty Clark with us, and Marty played Aussie rules football with Collingwood. Gentlemen, you are very welcome indeed. Kieran, what can we expect from this encounter?
Yeah, it's very difficult to know, Michael. Like, we've had a 2-year gap. Ireland have gone out there with quite an inexperienced team, so it's going to be a tough tough afternoon for them over there, adapting to the conditions. Very, very hot. They're down to 4 substitutes on the bench, so the interchange play, that's going to be difficult for them. You'd expect Ireland to be better prepared. They've had a lot more time to prepare. They put a lot of work in here at home. Australia only got together on Thursday, traditionally they're slow to get going in the tests. Ireland will be looking for a fast start. Australia might be looking to slow them down. They might get a bit physical. They've talked a big game during the week. So the thing about the international rules, you don't know what's, every year it kind of differs.
Sure.
2 years ago, Ireland got off to a great start. Australia were very rusty in the first 2 quarters, probably a little bit too nice. So we might see something different in the first 2 quarters, I think.
Okay, Marty, Kieran mentioned it there. There are 2 factors here that we have to put back to back. One is the heat. It's incredibly warm down there, and you know about this, having been in Australia, of course. But the other thing, as Kieran said, is Ireland have 4 subs. Now, we know about the vomiting bug, and there's an injury problem or 2 as well. And in an interchange game like this, how significant is that going to be?
It's highly significant. In the Australian game, there's as many as 150 interchange throughout. An AFL game, I know that game goes for longer, it's a different code, but having played this game myself, it's a matter of being intense. When you're out there on the pitch, you have to be at 100%.
I know, of course.
And the interchange lends that. You go out, you give your 3-4 minute spell, get off, get back on again.
Yeah.
With 2 men down in 35-degree heat, you know, that's a significant blow for those guys. But obviously they couldn't be risked with the nature of that bug and the weather the way it is. So that will give an advantage to Australia, who themselves are a man down because Gary Ablett, one of their stars, pulled out for personal reasons. So it's not as bad a blow to lose to because Australia are 1 down, but that may have a factor come the end of the game.
It certainly.
Smith is out. That vomiting bug, unfortunately, didn't give them enough time to recover. But I am joined by a former Cavan footballer, Cavan Gales man, who came over here at 17 and played with Western Demons in Melbourne Demons, and of course played international rules as well. What do you think of this match? Certainly from an Australian perspective, they're throwing everything at us.
Yeah, definitely. You know, they're going to be very physical, I'd say, from the outset. You know, they'll put the heat early on. I heard their coach earlier on talking their press conference, saying that they're going to tackle the Irish team, you know, aggressively early and take it from there.
It's very unfortunate that Niall Murphy and Enda Smith haven't recovered in time. We are hopeful that they'll be available prepared, but for them, it's very disappointing.
Yeah, very disappointing. You know, they've probably put in 8 or 9 weeks of hard work back home and went through the whole trial process, and to get a vomiting bug, you know, late in the week, and just hopefully it'll be okay for next week in Perth for the second test.
Talk to me about the heat, number 1, Nick, but also about the length of the grass, because we walked across the pitch here. It's very tight.
Yeah, so it's 33 degrees here at the moment, and you know the grass is very short. You'll see cricket's been on here the last couple of days, and you know it's like concrete out there. It's a very, very hard surface, and I reckon come game time it's going to be up to around 40 degrees what the players will be playing in.
That's going to be very difficult for the Irish. I mean, the Australians, at least they're from here, they're used to the heat, but we're not. Vice captain of this Irish team going to take this free. And the crowds, as you can see in the background, still coming in. And McManus floats it in, curls it in, and it's straight over the crossbar.
And putting numbers back there, and now, you know, we're after winning it back there, and great mark inside by Murphy.
Michael Murphy, interestingly to see him, Nick, at the edge of the square, named at midfield initially, but I think this is what's going to happen. The team list means little in this game of football.
Of course.
All right, let it stay. Owen, settle it down.
All-Ireland winning captain, 2012. From Glen Swilling. Michael line unmarked. I never saw that before. As that free is taken.
It's a behind by
behind world. Australia win the ball back. Going forward at speed is Nat Fife. Michael Hibbert kicking the ball from way out the field.
Manus and the likes like that.
Back about 7 years ago, there was great interest in Michael Murphy from Brisbane. And indeed, Sydney, I think, as well showed interest in him coming over, but he stuck with Donegal. And that is another attack. Looking around to see who's available. Zach Merritt. And it's
Chad Wingard.
who gets the free.
So Chad Wingard, you can see the tattoos on his arm there. He got his new sleeve finished off for this week, Marty, apparently, especially for the international rules. So credit to him for that.
Chad Wingard kicks it well. Straight in. Good kick again.
Australia Chachton Chahonunsi was a slow bro Ballish Daka Adelaide. Who will is Fiche. Tucky Shaka Scoopy and Chin. Canton Lachlan to Mach Gary Brennan. If I call to the shot to join the hospital. Hard Towel Jenny Morgan. Dodgy Current here. 21 was on. Murrach Neil Morgan and Chin. Jetach Shea Funche the Hampshire Egna Hospital. On Towel Jenny again Chin. Eddie Betts. Skillig the Hospital in Baslova. Ryan Ishtrati Jack Gunston. Gunston of Brando. Tashi Bulza. Harva Ord again. August Steve here. 21. Mark Orlingon. Danta Egg. Nathan 5. 5 for Bullish Jack Scoopy. Tashi Hospital in Pass Scoopy. Kanchan Kurarai. And Shelley Fosaka. And Conscience Glantamach. Grimley. Jean Laura Shelley Futcherashik Shane Burgoyne. Morgan Ryanish. Last scoop of Jenny Harrison. Harrison Fibro, Jenny Eddie Betts. John Chancellor, Chad Wingard. Eshin Roy Guji. Travis Book, August Book, Harrod. Trasnon, Kerta on. Cano Honor East. Kick on the mark is British Sheets and British in foot. The Herney, Chris Barrett, Chop and Keenan Chop. Carvella were hit. From challenge and Sludden, Tashi puts the Ord, Sludden, August will. Can on. You got Hamo Hutchins, Belvela Hernoy. So chat to reach. Drackle the hauling and Chin. Chad Wingard. Nish. We Chin. He shot tits and forced finish at Green, and Leroyd. Mark points to Mahage. Shahanir, so she kick out your Jochen Chin. Neil Morgan, a guy, Horde. What a Wingard on the end, a Morgan on the end. It was Mach, the Scoopy, the cool water hero. He's somewhat Mach, the Scoopy. Johnny's far on the hair in Inish. Pass trusted on McManus. August McManus a Hain. August on Mark Portiga. Kicks here McManus and August well to Belvela. Kicks here hard of it is Kavahan. But Hjartama 3 points in Chohege. A touch a hand from Jen Dunbass. Which I trust on Peter Crowley. Sean Morgan is Luhos. Her ball in there. Jen McManus. I in a year. Finish as up for the Shahanir. August Bunyan. Kate Carroll 0 shades and Chen August 3 points at Conor McManus. The hair needs 0 from Tossa. So Darla trying to shoot set humble toss in the hair nigga Mahan shop. Paul Geaney pass a shot, Gloucester to Aston shot as he's fought shot chance and it's Murphy is on goal. Score to Egg. Fair running all Michael Murphy. Gloucester, Skippy and Chen. Ní Colin Murphy more ingestion and pass for to go Pierce Hanley. Forest Park shot. Points in ish egg here in the shot. Who was on orders just going there and McManus on the Hunnell Tasha on the Hunnell is a gentle her boring it. Jiros is on Shamach. Looks her leader Steve Shanish. Chuck can Dacker. Ma Bohalita, and Leroy Kikal, Conor McManus, Gazastra, Zero Hotsahor, Tashi Costa shot, Tashi Kasash, and score 8 of Conor McManus. 3 points in glow to Ella, like far winner point. Tradition, Shuis and Brisha Fox at Rash ag na Australia.
Play on, not the
Gira an Berna Shaw Ronan is my feder up.
3 bounces.
Philip Fraba Rish, Zach Merritt, Trasna.
Sorry, I have it.
Na Kate Simpson a shot to law, or was he what's it gone more on Stroh stick? Nathan Fife.
He's gone into it.
Traditionish ag Nathan Laidugo. Shakes, that's just Gentiga, gone in Stroh.
Play on. 2.
Australia tacht the Rish. Taxation is Jachan shot. Right, the fight for Rish, Alien Shell on the Iraq Douglas, 5. The accused of Roiga Hurd. Trasnan, 3 points to Ella. The Australia close to the Lord and shot, like Derek and Dory Camero.
Play on. Play on.
Skilla a chance to 5 for Rish. Tasha Tussle, 3 of Camero Gama. Was he body 5? Oh, the goal scorer to Nathan 5 on Shade Cannock, the Australia. Kus you start the Kuna and Hule. Toos on Lord of Karaga Flesh. And 3 of Camero and Chop. There's no chance of Morgan. Unziele ag na heritage agus an Ireland táhaid jet to Chinby Jessic Paul Geaney Connick Brandon Goddard amach as rinne sé haar ball Nish Frehuntsi ag na Australia shortly into Glyph show Bingalore Frehuntsi on Shach to reach kick on to Shach agus Shin Glacka ag Ben Brown as Jeshinish ag Ben Brown Berna Veidu agus tá sé seo Casa Hart Homlan hí na hair ní buinte chun tosa Nish sin na Australia tá digging chun Kane agus jet up sin a bheith nédia go 3 deog agus tá si dír tifisteach an ggóile ar chlé 3 pointe deog at Trinish Australia on Lodgers 3 Cathro shot Tá go an chat a chuteach ar leid na hair nó an rinse imróir nachholin an Emmer Club Tá Tanya ní slú ná mar bháilog sin Glacka Jenny Paddy Ryder Nish Josh ag Paddy Chéad mar sin háte bhfuil fuil na ngail Ginnála Quintan agus í butse ar a trasdón ag Paddy Ryder an Stúo Cahir joig na Australia Ní níos fearr an Berna leideach go seacht Sean os beidir Ricato an tá centre goal agus the sinfáte glú trúí the Madeira Conroe na Himnory Gardamula
9 points between the teams. It really is quite substantial.
Yeah, so we've got about 8 minutes left, Marty. What do we think would be acceptable going into the second test? You know, I believe if we could hold them within that 10-point range would be, you know, still a good stead for going into Perth.
They win the ball back rather easily. Good work by Luke Shuey again that started this move. And the mark is given as well. Zane Zarko is quite a good footballer. He's with Brisbane Lions, just 28 years of age. First time an All-Australian this year. Another over.
Yeah, first time All-Australian, Marty, but he's won the last 3 best and fairest, like the player of the year at his club, Brisbane Lions. He's a small forward, plays a lot in the midfield as well, aggressive tackler, but he's a speedster.
Good mark on this occasion by Paul Geaney. And the second one for Ireland. Trying to slip one through. And Ireland will take the 3 points. And it's again that man, Conor McManus, who has been the main scorer-in-chief. It's 7 overs, 1 behind. 2 behinds, actually. First test. Michael Murphy gathers cleanly and kicks a mighty point in Irish terms. A 3-pointer in international rules. That is his 4th over. Dane Zorko. Brendan Harrison knocking it down for Killian Clark. Still Killian. No place for fancy stuff in the international rules.
It's in the back. It's a free kick. You need to roll him in.
Able to retrieve the possession cleanly. Mark Given. And it's well earned by Chad Wingard. Sean Burgoyne given a lot of time by the Irish. Caused problems in the first half as well. And Eddie Betts and the crowd here, the Australian fans, warming to the performance of the Australians with the round ball. And it certainly seems to be, in my opinion, Nick, one of their better performances.
Almost definitely. You know, Eddie Betts, he hasn't had a great game, Eddie Betts, but, you know, they've been getting the ball inside forward, like Nat 5 last little bit where they went and manned them up, and it's something that Joe and his team will have to look at and review during the week.
Perhaps Ireland can get something out of this. Lovely pick-up. It's Shane Walsh. It's the first opportunity. And that's a behind. It's a one-pointer for Shane Walsh.
Yeah, that's pretty good equivalent, Michael. As Kieran said, a fantastic effort in the second half, all with a man down as well, and Ireland not being used to playing in those type of conditions. So to really save their series, it was fantastic in that viewpoint. Reliant again on McManus and Murphy, but they've proven that they can be relied upon because they were simply fantastic today. And I think McManus himself finished with 7 overs, which is an incredible return.
Sure.
In any series, given you know, Ireland only got 50 points altogether. So those two, I'm sure the Aussies are pretty stringent in the way they look at their opposition analysis. So I would be surprised if McManus and Murphy had as much space the next day, but they are playing that high-risk game, so they're not really focusing on individuals. So McManus and Murphy potentially could do the same damage again. But it's going to be all about recovery now. 6-day break, given the amount of energy that you've lost there in that game and the hot conditions. So if Ireland can get that right, they're certainly in with a chance in Perth.
How, Marty, is Perth compared to Adelaide? Is there any major difference temperature-wise, or?
Well, it's about, I think it's 3 hours time zone, and Perth generally would be a higher temperature all year round. So they can expect more of the same. It'll definitely be 30 degrees plus, but at least they've that exposure to that today.
Yeah, and it's a later game, of course, during next week.
Yeah, it's a nighttime game, and I think the biggest thing from an Ireland perspective is, I suppose, when you play this game for the first time, Michael, you know, you've done all the training, they've done months of training against each other, but when you go out against the Australians, who are very, very different in how they approach the game, their quick hands, their quick movement, it's a big challenge for guys that haven't done it.
Sure.
So hopefully they'll learn from today as well, because we've a hugely inexperienced team, and you'd like, as we know, yes, the Australians will improve. They look very comfortable with the round ball, but you'd be hoping that, you know, yes, McManus and Murphy were brilliant today. Well, that's what we needed. But we're hoping some of the other guys will learn from that experience and improve towards next week. I think the biggest disappointment from an Ireland perspective will be 1 6-pointer. You know, in this series traditionally, that's one of the weaknesses in the Australian. Fair enough, but it just shows you what experience does as well. Those guys, they know this game. They have the caps under their belt. They played it. They've beaten Australia, and you could see they're much more comfortable. Much more comfortable in possession.
Conor McManus in action in the game. Conor McManus talking to us after the game.
Conor, can you give me your reaction to that first test?
For me, first instinct is disappointment, Marty. You know, we probably got ourselves into a decent lead at one stage, I think maybe in the second quarter, and it failed to capitalise on it in the third quarter, as the Australians call it, the championship quarter. They really put the squeeze on us and turned us over, and we made too many silly mistakes, and you know, they got to within 15 points clear at one stage. We got it back down to 7 or 8 in the final quarter there, and again Australia tagged on a goal. But look, we're very much still in the game. I think it's 8 or 9 points or 10 points in it or whatever it is, and we'll hope to make a lot of improvements over the next week.
Nick Walsh was on co-commentary with me, and we said kind of had to be 10 points or less. It is 10 points. It's still a big lead going into the second test in Perth, isn't it?
It's a big lead, but on the flip side of that, it's only 3 overs. You know, it's 3 points and it's back to a 1 point game. So that's the way we have to look at it. We have to improve. We have a lot of things to work on. Just basic, simple skills of our game that we probably didn't execute well enough, and we have that to work on over the week. If we can sharpen up on that, I fully believe we can claw that back.
Was the heat a big factor from an Irish perspective?
Not really. I think if you ask any of our lads, there's more in the tank there. We have more to give, and there's probably going to be maybe a wee bit warmer down in Perth next week. But look, we've got this under our belts. We can store that. We can put it in the tank and recover as well as we can over the next 2 or 3 days and get back to work Tuesday or Wednesday in training.
So fully focused and determined as always.
Yeah.
10 points, but there is still another game to play. Half time, as they say. And I'm joined by the Ireland manager, Joe Kernan. Joe, your thoughts on today's performance?
Well, firstly, disappointed to lose any match, but after what happened over this last week with the sickness and everything, at one stage we thought we mightn't have a team, but very proud of the players, the way they played. Certainly, we didn't live up to the standards that we set ourselves. We thought our passing was poor at times and our finishing was poor at times, but the way we finished fourth quarter, I must say, very proud of the boys. We wanted them to go out and get 3 or 4 early scores. They've done that. We're unlucky, maybe missed a goal or 2 chances near the end, and that would have put us right back into it. But 10 points isn't a big one.
What about Niall Murphy, Enda Smith, and now Pierce Hanley seems to have picked up a hand injury as well?
Yeah, Pierce is out. Pierce, we reckon he has a broken bone in the hand, so he's definitely out. The other 2 boys didn't even make it to the match today. They're after going through a horrendous week, so we'll just have to check and see can they recover in time.
Can you win in Perth next Saturday?
Of course we can. I think a lot of the things that we did wrong today, we can rectify, and we'll do that during the week, hopefully.
Joe Kernan, thank you very much. 10 points, the difference between the teams. It's half time. From Adelaide, we now go to Perth. Sydney Giants, Nick Walsh. Talk to me about the changes, first of all. Does all of this make it stronger for Ireland?
Definitely, like Ireland have 23 players now to pick from, Marty. Australia have only 19. They've pulled out a number of players due to injury and resting as well because of what happened maybe last week with Scott Pendlebury and Pierce Hanley with both with hand injuries. So Ireland today should be a little bit stronger in terms of numbers. So hopefully we can get the wood on them early to pull out a victory.
As I just said, talking to Michael there, there's 21 degrees. It's like a summer's day in Ireland, so that should at least favour the Irish.
Yeah, it's beautiful at the moment here, Marty. You know what I mean? The sun is shining. By half time, I take it the sun should go down. There is a fairly strong breeze here known as the Fremantle Doctor. It does swirl around. It doesn't give any advantage right to left. So both teams will have to really come to grips with that early.
It's never been done before to recover from a 10-point deficit. Can the Irish do it this morning?
Yeah, I believe so, Mark. Like 10 points, if they kick, a couple of early goals or even just pop over a couple of overs early in the game, it'll steady the ship. Last time we were here in 2014, we didn't have a great start. So I just believe we need to just settle down early, use the ball more effectively and be more efficient in front of goals.
Thank you very much, Nick, and I'm looking forward to doing the commentary with you. It's 8:45 as a throw-in Ireland. It's 4:45 in Perth. Do stay with us.
We will. Thank you, Marty. Marty hasn't been in tune lately, obviously. Kieran, 10 points down for the first test. We played okay in that. Can we turn this around?
I'd be optimistic that we can, Michael. I suppose we have to be. 10 points in this game is nothing, as we know. The game was going away from us in the third quarter last week, and we had a very good last quarter that kept us in it. I think if we could cut down on the basic errors, just be a little bit more composed in possession, win the midfield battle and take our marks when the opportunity presents themselves. I think, even the depth that we have this week, 23 players, a huge advantage compared to the Australian. The heat, obviously heat difference compared to last week. So there's a lot of things stacking up in our advantage. And if we get off to a fast start, when the goal opportunities present themselves this week, we got to take them. So listen, we got to be optimistic that we can get back into this. But we also know the Australians will improve.
Yeah, you've played in this series, Sean. You have as well, obviously, and you've played in Perth on 3 occasions. Give us an idea of the flavour, because this is the last time actually that they're using this stadium before it closes down as being replaced.
Yeah, it's an amazing stadium. It's caught in history with the Australian point of view, but there's an awful lot of Irish living in Subiaco, living in and around the stadium. So in 2014 in particular, we went out there for the one test series, and it was like Croke Park on an All-Ireland final day. There was 25,000 Irish. There was an Irish celebration the night before. It was all things Irish, so you're sort of hoping that that will allow the Irish players to settle down a little bit more this week. Last week, they, as Kieran rightly said, they were rushing things, they were afraid of the tackle, there was a number of new players that are playing, but you would hope the extra week, a bit of time at the beach maybe together this week will have bonded the group. But most importantly, they need to get back to playing football, because last week I felt they were maybe playing more of international rules and Aussie rules. Didn't always suit them at times.
On a realistic basis, Sean, because you touched on it yourself there, you've played in this thing in recent times. The week since last week to this week, I mean, obviously fellas have to enjoy themselves and have a bit of crack, but how much fun can you have, and how much do you take it seriously?
Oh, no, it is taken seriously. I know Kieran may have taken it a little less serious.
Taken serious for the last 2-3 days.
Look, the guys would have gone out last week in Adelaide after the game, enjoyed themselves. They'll be in Perth this week. I see a couple of them out playing golf, out going to the beach. That's natural, but they would be training every day. They would be doing something, keeping themselves ticking over. A number of Irish guys in particular didn't do themselves justice outside of maybe Kieran McManus and Murphy last week. A number of Irish guys will be going there thinking, I've come the whole way to Australia, my family's watching on, I'm representing Ireland, this is my time to shine. So you do get that competitive edge, and the Australia's team will also have that competitive edge. So no, there'll be a number of guys today looking to make a mark.
And I suppose as well as that, Kieran, we have to put into the mix last weekend there were these illness issues in the Irish squad, the tummy bug that they got. I don't want to overplay that, because the Aussies only got together a couple of days before the match as well. But essentially what this says is there should be a different vibe to today's match.
Well, I'd say the Irish are a lot more positive. I think they would have been quite happy finishing last week only 10 points behind. And I think Joe Kiernan identified areas where we can improve. Like, we were very kind of one-dimensional last week. The tight pitch, the nature of the tight pitch suits the Aussies, because it puts huge pressure on Ireland, and we can't really string 5-6 hand passes together. They're very, very good at that. So what we done last week was we launched long balls in, we hit 60-yard balls in. Goddard played very well as a sweeper. The lads done excellent inside, but we didn't really utilise the half-forward line, and I think we have to slow the game down a small bit, play it on our terms, and try and work marks. If it's a small pitch, we saw Conor McManus kick one from the sideline 50 yards out last week. So if the pitch is the same dimension, we've got to utilise the half-forward line and get marks, slow the game down, we get opportunities, trust ourselves that we can take those 3-pointers and get scores.
Last Sunday in Adelaide, that's a wonderful footballer, Nat Fife, and already shaking hands with Owen and then saying, OK, now we get on with the serious business. But Owen Cadigan, good rebel, good Douglas man, is responding immediately.
Interesting to see Sean Higgins, who's come into the side for Australia's playing that loose man that Scott Pendlebury did play last week. So he's a midfielder, he's a scorer. He will try and get forward here. So very similar tactics that they're adopting last week, Marty. So it'll be interesting to see how it pans out.
A lot of shoving and
brought up.
Cade Simpson knocking it back. Over for his Neville Jetta. The Australian captain, Sean Burgoyne. Good mark indeed. Australia use a lot of hand passing, but they're well able to use their own ball. We saw that last Sunday.
Great aggression by Aidan O'Shea there. What Ireland are tending to do, they stood off a little bit in the middle last week. They're still sort of treading water, or corralling as we call it in this game, and that was tremendous by Aidan O'Shea. He invited.
Once Scottstown were out of the Ulster Club Championship, got the call a few hours after the international last Sunday in Adelaide, flew in Tuesday in his adapter well, and this is a great movement. There's a chance here to go for Ireland!
Great goal.
It's Gary Brennan from Clondegad in County Clare.
The Clare man, huh?
The banners rise around Western Australia.
You'll see this again if they bring it back far enough. Darren Hughes had the instinct to play on straight away, Marty. Didn't slow it down. He played the high-tempo game that Ireland need to play and cut Australia's defence apart.
Well, the school teacher from St. Flannan's College in Ennis has really put it up to the Australians and given the Irish a massive boost of confidence with a smashing goal.
And he was under par last week. He was sick coming into the game, as a few of the other Irish players were. But great finish. Tremendous, kept it low. Didn't give him a chance to even get a fingertip to it.
Cracking goal. Captain leading by example. Good ball. Good mark. Michael Murphy. It's Gary Brennan again. He lays it off. Here's another goal.
2 in a row.
Chris Barrett from Belmullet in County Mayo has combined with the Clare man, and the Australians are all over the shop in their own backyard.
You'll see the crossfield ball again. Marty's doing damage. There was a number of Ireland players on this side of the ground where the Australians got sucked to the far side, and they just can't deal with that crossfield ball at all times. Like it's a great tool that Irish should use a little bit more.
Chris Barrett, All-Star 2017, 30 years of age, scoring Ireland's second goal. From Aidan O'Shea. Good mark by Michael Murphy. He laid it off to Gary Brennan. Here comes Chris Barrett. Aidan O'Shea is available. Didn't quite get the pass back to him, and that is over. Good score for the Australians. Scored by Zach Merritt.
Playing off the half-back, running hard forward, Marty. Left footer from the Essendon Football Club. You know, Classy played very well last week at 37 disposals, kicks and hand passes.
Pass over to Chris Barrett, goes astray. There's a chance here. It's the right man in the right place. Nat Fife laying it off. There's a chance of a goal. Knocked up in this occasion by Killian Clark. Still Nat Fife. And it's Niall Morgan that gets a hand to it. And the keeper comes away with it. Tries helplessly to hold on to it. The Australians put the pressure on. Taking the shot and taking the score. And it's an over. It's a three-pointer. 13 points to 8.
Rory Laird, I think, on that occasion, got it, Marty. Again, another aggressive half-back. The last two scores from Australia have come from their half-backs.
But also from within, Conor McManus. Australians win the ball back. Back to Conor McManus. Takes the shot, comes back off the post, and the umpire is going to signal as that is an over. As Ireland lead by, or rather behind, I should say, that's 17 points to 8. Ireland leading 17 points to 8, 18 points to 17 on aggregate. Taking a wonderful shot. Rory Sloane. It's a very good over. 27 years of age, born on St. Patrick's Day back in 1990. Good footballer from Adelaide.
Very good player for Adelaide Crows. You know, one of the best midfielders. You know, very, very good with the Australian rules football and equally with the Gaelic football then on that occasion.
Posed here. Travis Boyd goes forward. He has support play, and it's available. Dangerfield. Ben Brown tries to get a shot to it. Referee is there. No penalty. It's a free out. But Ireland need to remain focused and keep their concentration, because when they go forward, there are serious spaces developing, and again, the tackling is ferocious, but it's legitimate. I thought it was. Has the speed, and look at him go. Still Shane Walsh, laying it across. There's a chance for Darren Hughes. Pulls the trigger. Saved on the goal line. Back to Hughes again, and sent over the behind line. For wonderful, fantastic play by Ireland. The speed of Shane Walsh, and the pass to Darren Hughes. Great save by Brendan Goddard, it must be said. And the Monaghan man really should have first quarter. Con Tippett now, vice captain of his country in this international rules test. And the umpires.
No issues there. If there was a black spot there, that's where it would have been sailing over, Marty.
Second over for Conor McManus.
No big shove, so it's a bit alien to Robbie Tarn back there, and that's why he sort of complained to the referee on that occasion as well.
So for the clear push on the back, Michael Murphy will take his three-pointer, and he's over. And his first score in this second test. Ireland 24, Australia 12. Right now, Ireland holds a 2-point advantage. Remember, a 10-point victory for the Australians. Aggregate score counting. So put the aggregate score, that 10-point advantage. Right now, it's Ireland 24, Australia 22. But a long way to go. 5 passes, says the referee, Maurice Deegan. Then you have to kick. Australia's Eddie Ebbs putting it into the centre. Here comes the danger man. There's a chance here. Niall Morgan on the goal line. Ireland putting in the challenges. Morgan, sideline ball.
Marty, if the sides are level at the end of the series on aggregate score, I believe Ireland retained the Cormac McAnallen trophy.
Because they're the holders of the Cormac McAnallen trophy, they retain it.
Correct.
So it's a good point, Nick. A draw would even do here in terms of
an aggregate draw.
An aggregate draw.
Exactly.
Yeah. A 10-point victory would do the trick for the Irish. Michael Murphy going to take this.
He's looked dangerous when he got the ball in his hands.
He always is.
He looked. Last week he was obviously carrying a bit of a flu. This week he's moving a lot freely.
Captain of the Donegal team that won All Ireland in 2012. That's his second over, in fact, by Paul Murphy. From Rathmore, All Ireland medalist 2014.
It's good to see him get up for this week, Marty, after that sickness. And Ireland free kick for a late challenge. Joel Selwood.
Again, there's a bid of afters going on. Aidan O'Shea is not afraid to take them on and emphasise that he's the captain and he won't be accepted for the challenge on Chris Barrett, one of Ireland's goal scorers. This was the challenge here, and it was a hefty one by Joel.
He's very lucky on that occasion, Marty. If that was a little bit higher, he could get a black card or a yellow card similar to this occasion. Very, very lucky.
Looks like a red to me when you look at the challenge.
Yeah, potentially. Like he has to come off the ground to play. Chris Barrett now he's.
Tyrone Randare, All-Ireland medalist, Enda McGinley. Now the Irish team physio. He had the terrible bug as well last week. Good to see him here. Fitting well as Chris Barrett was coming forward. Oh, that was a very high challenge by Joel Selwood. That to me would be a red card, Nick.
Marty, it'd be a red card. Should be a red card in this game. It would be probably a fine or a week in the game of AFL as well. A week suspension. It was late, it was intentional, and it was high. It was called reckless and intentional in the game of AFL. There we go. There's the black card now.
So a black card for the challenge, and rightly so. Black card very much like our own game where it can be a replacement.
So what they've probably gone upstairs, there's a video referee here from South Africa, probably would have went upstairs, had a look at the incident again, judged it from different angles, and deemed that it was a black card on that occasion, rightly so.
And Conor McManus punishes it even more with his third over of this second test. And Ireland lead at half-time by 30 points to 17. That's technically a 13-point advantage here, but an aggregate score over the series, Ireland now lead by 30 points to 27. They have a 3-point advantage at the break, but the afters is now continuing on, and tempers are becoming frayed, and this is totally unacceptable. The game has been played in a sporting fashion. We haven't seen this in the international rules for many, many years. There was sporting behaviour over the last number of tests, but this is just ridiculous. Half-time whistle had blown. Obviously, there was tension. The Irish are determined to win. The Australians are determined to hold on to their lead. And there is behaviour here which is not acceptable at international level.
The only one that's acceptable is to the crowd, Marty, at the moment. But, the Australians are probably frustrated at this stage, especially after that black card occasion on Joel Selwood.
Guys a lot more prominent. I think defensively we've been absolutely excellent. In terms of 50-50 balls and contesting 50-50 balls, we're matching them, and that would generally be a weakness on our side. Our full back line has been brilliant. Darren Hughes has made a big difference in there. Zach Tuohy's playing well. Gary Brennan's more prominent around the middle. Kevin Feely has won some great marks. Niall Morgan's kickouts have been very good. He's just putting them over the 50-yard line. We're winning easy possession. So without the ball, we're doing a hell of a lot of good things right. when we have the ball, we could be a little bit more composed. We've kicked away some easy possessions at times, you know, particularly when we're winning marks and we have the time to find other guys. A few loose passes has let them build, but they're working a lot harder for their scores. Up front, McManus, again, three overs, and Murphy, they're still 15 points, 5 3-pointers between
even though they're not as prominent as they were last
crucial.
week.
So we're making the game a lot more difficult for Australia. We have the interchange players, we can rotate, we can keep guys fresher. As I said, a lot more guys are prominent. We're in a good position, but we still have obviously the 2 quarters to go, and the 3rd quarter, we know, is big.
Sean, you know what it's like to stand around the middle of the field waiting for those Niall Morgan kicks, and this has been an area of our game that we've done well in.
It is. I think the goalkeeper has the option to kick it out of his hands or off the ground, and kicking off the ground, the Australian players aren't used to the trajectory of the ball coming from the ground. So I think that's certainly a tactic of Ireland. Have said, I'll put the ball down. He can kick it quite freely to either side. It gives Ireland a big advantage in terms of the flight of the ball. I would agree with Kieran that we're playing Gaelic football. We're getting men behind the ball. Kieran said we're playing like Tyrone in terms of Mickey Hart with a defensive system, but it's working.
Yes, of course it is.
We're blocking that D. What's Ireland? Ireland are saying, come at us, Australia, for sure, but you're not going to get your scores in around the D area, and that's where Australia normally are very good at leading for marks and taking their kicks. You can see the Australian guys, if they come down a right or left wing, they're not Conor McManus or Michael Murphy. They're not going to shoot from wings. Whilst the Irish guys are happy to shoot from wings, you saw Conor McManus kick a couple of great scores, Michael Murphy from distance. So Ireland are playing the game on our terms. We have a fight. We have we have aggression, and that's Australia all over. Australia.
And I suppose it makes sense. Sorry to cut across, Sean, but it makes sense, doesn't it, for us to play the game, if you like, on our terms. Like as you said, the kind of game that we're used to playing. Because last week I felt at times it was very helter-skelter.
But I think huge credit has to go to the Irish because they've learned from last week, you know. And we were very, very loose in the full back line, and we stood off them 2 or 3 yards, and we stood off them out the middle of the park as well. And they were able to build easily through the middle, pick off those marks, and get easy scores. They haven't had. When you think they haven't had an easy mark across the D area because we've been brilliant in the full back line. We broke.
Kevin Feely, challenge goes in. The Australians come away, sloppy pass, however, and good work again on this occasion by Paul Gainey. Lays it over for Shane Walsh. Shane having a go from way out the field, dropping it in, and that is a score, and it's an over.
Tremendous score.
Great score. 3 points. Shane Walsh from Galway.
He's really putting a stamp on the game, Marty. You know, he's had patches in both the first and free downfield. I saw Ben Brown slotting these over earlier in the warm-up, so interesting to see how he gets on here.
Ball is wide.
We'll take that one.
Gone forward is Rory Sloan. Eddie Betts with the help of the post gets an over. He's got good football skills. The Adelaide Crows man got a point earlier, a behind, and now an over.
Darren Hughes initially did really well on that 5 there. You see the initial punch away. We just need to be more clinical on ground, Marty, when the ball hits the ground for that breaking ball.
13 points between the teams. Niall Morgan's kick out went a little bit astray, but he got a little bit of luck as well because the ball is knocked out over the sideline. Shane Walsh giving it to Sean Powter.
One cut in this game, Marty. You can't take on your opponents like that unless you're free to.
Chance here for Eddie Betts. Shane Walsh came in to challenge, and as a result, Eddie Betts gets another behind. That's 1 over and 2 behind, but again, the Irish just have to maintain control. And trying to take too much out of it and doing a solo or a dummy here just doesn't cut ice. Michael Murphy, elegant, stylish.
Flying in the air as well. It's good to see.
Into trouble here.
But I don't mind them playing Gaelic football, Marty, when they're certain that they can.
Little flick on from Eddie Betts. Back again, there's a chance. And it's placed over the crossbar.
Dane Zorko.
Dane Zorko getting an over.
Just going back on that point, Marty, I don't mind Ireland playing Gaelic football as per se, but when they see men surrounding them like Australians do on that occasion, they can't turn the ball over and give it away easy. And we can't even do that in Gaelic football either.
No, you can't. Agree. He's holding.
A great score there by Dane Zorko, I have to say. You know, he's after winning the last 3 best and fairest at his club in Brisbane Lions. Small forward, midfielder, very, very skillful and talented player.
Darren Hughes laying it off for his Conor Sweeney. Comes back for his Aidan O'Shea. Nice work. Aidan O'Shea is taken down.
Nat Fife could be in trouble here.
And the referee has come over to the sideline off camera. Aidan O'Shea pulled down. I think it's more of a sideline ball that the referee is dealing with rather than this is the challenge by Nat Fife. Eddie Betts.
There was a leading elbow there. It'd be interesting to see will that go upstairs now to the South African video official Ian Curlewis. Will he be having a look at it?
That looked to me like another black card, to say the minimum. Conor Sweeney from Ballyporeen. It's a good mark. And Australia relieve the pressure. Again, this tension is palpable. It's increasing all the time. As the Australians realise they have to step up again. Jack Gunston. Good mark. Ends up with Travis Bullock from Port Adelaide. Laying it back for his Dangerfield. Into the centre. Nat Fife. Listen to the round of applause. Listen to the roar.
Local hero Marty. Fremantle Dockers Club. You know, really nice pull kick there, and he just led back up the ball. Make no mistake, he just put it straight over.
It's his first score in this second test. He was certainly the man in form in the first one with a goal, 3 overs and 1 behind. He's been really well marked by the Irish this afternoon here in Perth. First opportunity of a score. Niall Morgan actually got into difficulty here. He just had to pull and get rid of it.
He officially mentioned as dropping the ball or holding the ball on that occasion, so you know he was unlucky, didn't have many options, but can't be giving away these little easy scores.
It's another over for Australia. Chad Wingard with the 3-pointer. 18 minutes a quarter. Still have 6 minutes to go in this third and crucial quarter. Sean Potter couldn't control it. Patrick Dangerfield, the Australians have stepped up again. The mark is called by Eddie Betts, and he gets it. And the home crowd are warming to the football skills of the Australians right now.
Yeah, just a bit of confusion around the middle of the field there on that occasion. I think it was young Kevin Feely, but then then Dangerfield intercepting the ball when Ireland were going ahead forward, and that was a wasted chance there by Eddie Betts. But Australia are looking just a little bit more dangerous, Marty.
Certainly seem to have stepped up a gear, and it just happens once Nat Fife gets the ball and he gets a score, gets a mark, then gets a score. They all seem to.
Yeah, definitely. In Australian rules, we talk a lot about momentum. Whoa, there we go.
Wow. Did I mention Nat Fife? Listen to the roar.
The good old Specky. I mentioned momentum. Momentum's a big shifter in AFL football, and teams really thrive on momentum here. And no doubt Chris Scott would have talked about that in the dressing room at half-time.
Well won back by Shane Walsh. Picked up by Michael Murphy, the goalkeeper. Puts in the challenge. There's a chance here. It's Kieran Sheehan, and that is an over.
That's a good way to break momentum.